Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Ryan Saplin here, and I'm just making a personal video for my email list. And if you're on my YouTube channel watching this video, this is something I kind of want to do on a regular basis for my email list, just something sort of personal, because I really think that writing is one of the most powerful things that you can ever do. Just think about, I don't know how old you are watching this video, but if you've ever gotten a love letter or if you've ever written a love letter, there's nothing more personal than a letter. And this is a personal message primarily aimed at my email list. Now, I wanted to kind of share just a few random things because, again, I'm trying to make this personal because this is my business. And that is this book that I just read to my kids. It was a freaking amazing book. It's called Small Beauties. It's a story of Ireland, kind of a story from Ireland from history. It's actually a beautiful book. It's for 5 years old. What I did is I Googled um, emotional stories for kids, and it has a really cool ending. And if you're in the business, you'll definitely like the end. It's kind of cool. But I want to share that little tidbit because I just finished reading this to my kids. I kind of want to actually talk about lower back pain because I want to. I started writing this email, and this email will probably be in the link or somewhere or another. But I wanted to talk about lower back pain. I was coaching a client today, and we were talking about her back was bothering her. She's been having hip and back pain, and I was talking about like what she was doing wrong and what she needed to fix. And for those that are you on the YouTube channel, you know that I'm really into mobility. I'm really into the whole creating proper movement and building strength. Like through proper movement. And one of the things that I have found that a lot of people do, and she was doing this, is that she was having too much spinal movement. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull this off because I don't have space, but let's go see. I'll pull this mic here and see if I can, if it doesn't disconnect. You can see me here from the back, and as I'm squatting, what she would do, she would lean forward. Let me see, move this camera here. Okay, so as she would squat or deadlift, I should say, like a deadlift movement, she would stick her butt back, right, like this, and then as she went down, she would round at the lower back like this. Or as she started to come down, as I told her to keep her lower back straight, what she would do is she would arch her back like that, then round her back, then arch her back, then round her back, sort of like snaking herself down. And this is sort of the common problem that a lot of people have who have hip and back pain. And if you're a heavy squatter, heavy deadlifter, this is one of those issues that occur a lot of the times in people because what happens is they're trying to keep a neutral spine or trying to keep an organized spine. And throughout the process of trying to squat ass to grass, get the hips below the knees, they essentially move the spine like an accordion. And the reality is, when you're squatting or deadlifting, there should be zero movement in your spine. And one of the things that your body does, as I was explaining to this new client of mine, is when when your muscles get tight, right? When your muscles get really, really tight, or when they get weak. It's kind of hard to really explain all this in this short video, but one of the things that happens is the muscles sort of cast together. It's sort of the reason why you have tight muscles, why you foam roll and it starts to loosen up, is because your body is trying to find stability. If you ever had a knee injury, ankle injury, or some type of surgery, the muscles get really, really stiff. And one of the reasons why it does that is it's sort of casting itself. It's maybe call it scar tissue, whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to get too technical, but the idea is that what's going to happen is that the muscles, the joint or the muscles around the joint are learning how to cast themselves so that they can stay stable. So that's what's happening to people with very tight lower backs is their lower back is trying to find stability, and it does that by casting it, almost like curing, like a what's that word, like concrete almost to a certain degree, so that way it's stable. But the problem is you turn into, instead of being like a, I don't know, like a rubber band, you end up being like a, a twig, sort of, so you can break, if that makes any sense. So I'm stretching the analogies a little bit. I hope you found it interesting. Understand that one of the things that I taught her was simply being able to be aware of that poor movement. That's actually the most important thing I taught her for our training session because she does need to strengthen her core. She needs to stretch her hip flexors. Yeah, she needs to learn how to breathe properly through her diaphragm. She needs to be able to do all these things, but she has to be aware of what's going on, and that's why I put emphasis on. It's like, okay, can you feel this? Because what was happening is as she was reaching forward and reaching down, I would basically the exercise I instructed her to do was, as you reach down for the ground, I want you to stop when you feel your lower back round. That's what the instruction was. And then what ended up happening was what happened? basically I had her do it like 5 or 6 times. And what was interesting is that she thought she was rounding when her hand got past her knees, right? That's what happened, right? Well, in this case, what happened was she was rounding right here. You know, basically she was beginning the round here. And that's essentially the biggest fault that people have, why people have lower back problems when they deadlift, when they squat, is because they are having spinal movement. You should have no spinal movement when you're under load. When you're maybe picking up something off the ground, you can afford spinal movement. Your body's designed to do that. But when you're carrying heavy loads or you're going really fast or doing lots and lots of reps under fatigue, it's going to lead to injury. So anyways, hope you got something out of that. Leave a comment. You can reply to my email if you want. I hope you enjoyed this message. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you all on the next video.